I like lions. I'm quite fond of foxes, but which animal will be the apex predator? There's only one way to find out. Get a game between the Villa and Leicester, such as the one that's happening at Villa Park this weekend. This is Talk of the Trinity.
Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Talk of the Trinity. This is season 2. It's episode 24. And yes, I know you're thinking, hang on a minute, there's something a little bit different here. That difference is that it's me doing the introduction for the first time since the 3-2 reversal to Watford on the opening game of last season. Hopefully, though, that isn't an omen. This is going to be a short and sweet podcast because, regrettably, Baz is unable to join us. I can't confirm or deny the rumours that he has got a little bit ahead of himself, thought he was one of the Sky Six of the podcasting world and tried to form a breakaway podcast called Holler from the Holt. Baz's lawyers say I'm not allowed to confirm that. He's okay. I'm also not allowed to address the rumour that apparently he tried to join the For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast or create a breakaway podcast with Dave and Liam saying we're glad Ings has been sold. Well, that's just not. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I'm just going to get annoyed. We saw that transfer deadline day didn't bring anything in for us apart from the return of Bertrand Traore, and hopefully that's going to be one that helps to reignite his Villa career. Very, very good first season, averaging a goal every 6 games across his Villa career. Last year, though, he was struck down by injury quite a bit, and we didn't get to see the best of him. The type of player who can be a little bit frustrating, but also has magic in his boots. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to see those magical boots against Leicester City at home, a team who are currently 14th in the league. They're struggling. They've only had a handful of wins all season. It's 5. They've had 3 draws. They've lost 12. They're on 18 points. They're 1 point above the drop zone. And they're 10 behind the mighty Aston Villa. And a Villa win can see us move potentially up to 8th place, but into that top half. Now, Leicester's recent form has been quite poor. They bookended the last 5 games with 1-0 FA Cup wins over lower league opposition, that being Gillingham and Walsall. And they've averaged 2 goals conceded per game in their last 3 Premier League matches. Newcastle away and Forest away were both 2-0 defeats before a 2-2 draw at home to Brighton. A credible draw there against a very good Brighton team. They brought in a couple of signings, Tete, Christiansen and Sutter. Sutter highly rated, of course, 15 million from Stoke City. And they'll be hoping that all of those can fire them into, winning ways. But they've got no better chance than they will think than this weekend when they come to Villa Park. Because after this, they've got Spurs at home, United away, Arsenal at home, Blackburn at home in the Cup, and potentially the trickiest tie of them all, an away game at St Mary's to Southampton. But for me, I'm not too concerned about Leicester, really. I mean, Baz thinks that Leicester are going to win 3-0. He may or may not have said that, but here we go. He's not here to defend himself at the moment. I, on the other hand, think that we're going to see a few goals because Danny Ward is probably one of the players I'd thought that they would have tried to upgrade it on Leicester, and they haven't. So with him in goal, I think we're getting shots off, and with an ageing backline for them, really, when you take Sutter out of it, we've got a good chance of pressing forward and scoring a few goals, letting the ball hit the back of that Holt end net. Now, I very much expect Leicester to be reliant upon their attacking threats, Maddison, Iheanacho, Vardy, Barnes, to name but a few, who are who can be deadly when they're in form. And they've also got Yuri Tielemans, the contract rebel. It'll be interesting to see whether he plays alongside Downton Abbey's very own Dewsbury Hall. For us, though, we've heard that John McGinn's back in training. We've heard that Luca Dini's as well, and that Johan Duran should get some sort of game time this weekend. Now, I've seen on Twitter that there's some concerns about the depth of our squad and our substitutes bench, and that Dave the Janitor will likely be an 89th minute replacement for Ollie Watkins. However, with a predicted starting lineup of Martinez, Young, Consa, Mings, Alex Moreno, Buba and Dougie, with Buendia, JJ, Bailey and Watkins, we can see that we've got a good 11 there. And that on the bench, the 9 players will likely be Robin Olsen, Matty Cash, Luca Din, Callum Chambers, Leander Dendoncker, Philippe Coutinho. We'll see John McGinn and we'll see Johan Duran. Now, that is a strong substitutes bench. And there's also some kids, such as Caden Young, such as Sil Swinkles, who have been training with the first team. But I say that we will get this 4-2 win, and the reason for that is I think that we're defending quite well at the moment. Emi Martinez is full of confidence after his World Cup heroics and bringing home that winners' medal to beat 6. Ashley Young is in the prime of his life, playing some of the best football of his career, bar the first spell at the Villa. And who'd have thought that he would have been as a first choice right back? I think if anybody's going to be able to stop Harvey Barnes in his tracks, it's going to be him. Alex Moreno will likely be starting, and we'll be expecting to see him push forward. Had it not been for the fact he had that baptism of fire against Leeds coming on so early, I don't think he would be starting games just yet. I think it would still be Luca Din. But he's taken his opportunity. He's helped us get 2 wins. So why not have him there? And of course, we've got the resurgent Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings, both at centre-back as well, who should have enough to handle Jamie Vardy and also Kelechi Iheanacho. That's me knocking on wood, not knocking at the cabin. Hoping that neither of those 2 players score goals against us. As I say, Dougie and Buba in centre mid, not just defensive midfielders, but midfielders who can get on the ball, can create chances. Dougie, of course, can score goals. We've seen it from corners. We saw it against Tottenham as well. But they both seem to be enjoying their football and enjoying playing alongside one another. Emi Buendia probably keeps his starting spot over Philippe Coutinho because of his endeavour to get back defensively and work. But if he isn't doing it up the other end, I can definitely see the little magician coming on with half an hour left, hoping to stake his claim, especially after that lovely training video of him weaving between players and scoring. On the right-hand side, Jacob Ramsey's come back in. He hasn't done anything wrong. Since coming back in, he's still going to be a player who needs a rest every now and again. But at the moment, it's time to get behind him, give him a run out, and get him running with the ball and driving at defenders. Have him hitting the box late like Ian Taylor did, and scoring those top bin bangers, which he did against Leeds and also against Manchester United. Leeds last season, of course, Man United this season. Bailey and Watkins, they just bring the energy. They're going to have to keep running at Sutter and Evans and not let them bully them. If they want to bully us, let's bring on Johan Duran. I think Bailey and Watkins wear them down quite a lot and help us get the goals. And Big Johan will come on and make a Holt End hero of himself straight away with a left-footed rocket past Danny Ward that nestles in the back of that Holt End net before jumping into the crowd and having all the Villa fans singing his name and saying that he's hungry like the wolf. Do apologise. I know Baz probably annoyed you quite a bit with those Duran Duran song references previously. I don't know any Duran Duran songs, apart from that one. Well, I don't know it. I just know the name of it. But we're going to be hoping that Villa are hungry for goals, something that have been quite hard to come by. And we hope that we don't make a meal of it against the Foxes. They'll be rooting round for scraps that have been left out in the bin, but we'll be looking for that prime cut as the Lions look to rip in to their Midland rivals. I'm going 4-2 to the Villa. I'd love to know what you're thinking as well, as would Baz. You won't listen back to the podcast though, but if you do want to say what you think the score will be, pop it onto Twitter and at us. Put it in the comments of our YouTube page. You can't put it onto the podcast hosting sites, Apple, Google, Spotify, Deezer, Freezer, Vacuum Cleaner, Acast, wherever else you like to listen as well, whether that's picking up a shell and holding it against your ear and hearing our lovely brummy voices. Okay? But until next time, Baz is very much Villa till he dies. I am Villa till I die. He is hoping that the Lions are the ones that come out on top and keep climbing that food chain towards the Europa League spaces, because once we get there, surely it's nailed on with Unai as our manager. Cheers, Tar. Thank you very much. As always, up the Villa.